Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Apologies with this one being a week late. I was ill last week and unfortunately it did take my voice. So I did try and get a video out for you, but it just wasn't going to happen unfortunately. But anyway, less about me. I know you're all here to see the tram, so without further ado, let's get into it. Now, as always, what I want to start by doing is going through the comments in the last video, and there was a few good ones. Mainly around the need for some upgrades, and there's a few of you like Tony, David, Alex all said that you think point to point is the way forward, instead of longer lines stopping at multiple towns, just so that we can have more routes and more variety of tram. And I have to say I completely agree with you guys there, so thanks for that input. What else did we get? We had Patrick and Mr. Stabby both told me that the wheel units that I couldn't think of the name of, the sort of sections with the wheels on the tram, are actually called bogies, or our American friends over the pond refer to them as trucks. So thanks for that, guys. Vital info as always. It's always good to hear the bits that I'm not sure of. It helps me out a lot. But as you can see, even though I was poorly last week, I was still playing, and I just spent the time. I didn't want to jump ahead without you guys too much, so I spent the time decorating some of the areas. You can see here the Tram and Bus Museum. We've got this crane in here that I didn't actually realise moves when I placed it, but it does constantly keep moving back and forwards and looks like it's actually operating. And it is on two rails, but they didn't look right here, so I sort of lowered it down and put it underground. If you'd like to see any of the sort of asset building and design bits, guys, let me know, and I can always just sort of put it as a time lapse and speed it up for you so you haven't got to watch the slow balling of it. And then here around this sort of bus tram station, I just added some trees around the outside to make it look like a bit more established, and then this brick wall at the front. That's it, nothing too massive really. I've stuck some trees within the turning circle here, and at the same up at the other end at Louth, I added some trees in again, but I also thought to myself, there's no way, if we're going to have this line as our heritage line moving forward, there's no way for the old trams that we're taking off to get on, so I'll put a one-way tram line here. And because we're running point to point from every town, or at least we've got a route to every town, every tram that we currently have, if I told it to get onto this heritage route, it would be able to. And one thing that I want to do today is upgrade those. So I wanted to have a look here at the condition of our vehicles. So if we look at what's very bad here, there we go, the Lincoln Louth line. So if we look, now we've figured out that we're going to be going point to point. First of all, is this line point to point? And I know it goes just sort of past Louth, but it's attaching onto that main hub, so I'll class that as point to point. Now these trams, if we have a look at them, they're only actually running with 80 passengers out of 33. So if let's have a look at this line profitability. So it has been making money, so we don't want to downsize it too much, but what we do want to do is get rid of some of these vehicles. So whichever one of these is closest to this end, it's going to be this guy here. I'm going to hijack him before he goes past here. I'm going to tell him to stop, and I'm actually going to get him onto the heritage line and start him up again, and I'm hoping that means he will now drive straight across this line and on. We just speed that up. And there we go. So as we do this, as we're moving along, it is obviously going to affect how good this line is. But there's one of the Blackpool bubble trams coming up now with no passengers on. I don't want this line to get overcrowded, so we're going to sell one of those because we've replaced it with this guy here. He's decided to turn left off the bat, and he'll go and pick up his first passengers. So now the rest of this Louth line I want to look at upgrading, and we need to see what we can upgrade for. So at the minute these trams hold 16, so I would imagine pretty much anything we're going to choose from here now will be of an upgrade. And they currently do, I don't know what the current top speed of these is actually. Current top speed is 22, okay. And maybe we use these roamers here, so they can hold 32 and they can go at 31 miles per hour. Now it's interesting here that there's different models available here. By the look of it, but only one here, so I'm thinking maybe more of these roamers unlock as we go through time, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But for now, I think it's a new electric tram. It's doubling the capacity almost. It's got 10 miles per hour speed, so yeah, let's go for that, and then let's have a little look at these roamers. Oh, that's cool. It's actually almost like a bendy bus. I forget the actual name for it when they join in the middle like that, but it looks fairly basic. If you look inside, they look like old wooden school chairs inside. But that is actually a really nice tram. The windows look like they're sort of meshed. You sort of see this with a lot of mods, and unfortunately it hasn't got the name of the line on the front or where we're going, but it's still a really nice tram. These bogies, as I now know they're called, have some really good detail on them. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That one's pretty good. So what else do we have in terms of what needs upgrading? So Tram 78, the Durham Combat. He's travelling at 15 miles per hour. Why is he travelling at 15 miles per hour? If we speed that up, is there a reason? Is that just because he's lacking power? I think it possibly is. Now, if we have a look at what's on this line, 56. So we have got 3 newer ones down here, but this one is the oldest one. So I'm wondering whether... See, I'm not sure, you know, with 36. Do we just get rid of one? Well, he's actually the oldest one. It didn't take me to him just, did it? If I click on that one, it took me to Tram 78 actually, which is 34 years old. So Tram 56, the details of him, condition's very bad. So he must just be further down this list. But okay, so that tells me that this line itself has got a few issues. But on this line, they carry conmat and food, I believe. So what we need to do is ensure, yeah, conmat's been dropped off here. So you can see here they carry grain, food, and conmat. So if we were to upgrade these, we need to upgrade these guys with something that carries all of them. And we either go... so in here we could carry the food, but we need food and the conmat, but we'd need a different carriage for grain. Because how much are we currently holding? 21. I'm thinking maybe we go for PCCs again here, just because it's a multi-cargo route. Yeah, let's go for that. Because that gives us a speed increase and a very slight capacity increase as well, is the word I'm looking for there. So what else have we got then? Passenger tram ride. So from Canterbury, we've got the T1s, haven't we? And this is a tram that I really like. But it is sort of getting to that time, isn't it? Right, it's capacity 23, top speed. Do you know what? Top speed 37. It's not a bad tram. It's not a bad tram. Finances aren't great, admittedly. But what's that line doing as a whole? Let's have a look at that Canterbury line. If we go to, where am I looking? Wrong menu. If we go to here and we look at this Canterbury Durham line, so it's making 266,000 a year. It's running at 8. I think we do probably have too few vehicles on this line, really. So if we look, we're only carrying 108 of 230. So I think to start off with, if we go 1, 2, 3, we sell those, and then what's left we upgrade, bar 1, because one of these will be going to the heritage line. So from here, what do we want to upgrade to? So we want to make sure we're on passengers first. We get one of these Rathenberg Munichs. I don't think we need the oversized ones again. Rathgeber P Munich prototype. That one carries 57, so I don't think we need 57 yet. But we'll have a look at that. Tram 28. I want to change the line there to the heritage line, and hopefully he'll find his way. So where's he headed to now? He's headed in that direction anyway. I'm hoping there's a way that we can still do maintenance on these. Or what I may have to do is go into that line, heritage line, and set the maintenance as really high, so they keep these guys clean and looking good. I don't know if there's a, you know, without putting the no vehicle end date mod in and having a list in the depot that's absolutely huge, I don't really see another way of doing that. But let's have a look at what we can find. Well, let's have a look at the new trams first, because I know that's what we all want to see. But these Rathenbergers. So we have got the route name on the front of this one, and no headlight being on makes a change. That actually looks really cool. Now, that says 2001 at the front. Currently we're in 1966. So I'm hoping that's a vehicle number and not a year. I sure it is. The driver looks like he's not too interested. He's driving hands-free. He's stroking an imaginary cat by the look of it. But the inside of this looks a lot more modern. Again, we've got the bendy bus type deal going on in the middle. We've actually got some standing passengers here. It's the first time I've seen that on a tram, I think. Unless I've just absolutely not been paying attention. So, from that, what have we got next in terms of passenger trams? Tram 46 on the Newark line. Ah, that's the Heritage line, so of course we're going to have old ones on there. Southeastern. Now, this will be an important one to upgrade, I suppose, because the speed limits. So yeah, you can see here, this guy's backing up all of the traffic down here. And traffic was another thing that I wanted to address in this episode, guys, because this crossroads here and this junction over the other side of the bridge here are really becoming problem points, as you can see down here, and we're going to address that once I've finished upgrading these vehicles. And I've managed to find some really good mods for junctions, which you'll see when we get into it, but it's actually really cool. But so for this one, again, I think we'll let this guy drop off his passengers and then we'll send him to the Heritage line, and then we'll upgrade the others on the line. Because if we upgrade the capacity, then we can deal with... This guy's only brought 4 passengers down. Because the speed also determines how much people want to travel on the routes. And I think that is one of the issues we're having now. There we go. So we'll send him to the Heritage line. And then we'll go to the Southeastern line and we'll manage these vehicles. And we'll upgrade these guys. Passengers again. Maybe we go straight for the Tacras. Because the ones that we put... The T3SUs that we put in the last episode... I want to address a comment there from Tenari Naranto, who said that he used to have these in his town, but one thing that everybody noticed, HamFam noticed this actually. He said that in the last episode when I put these onto the lineup at the other end of the route, around Newark I believe, I said, well, it's got 23 capacity and the ones at the time had 21, and I said we won't be getting anywhere near that. And then apparently without me noticing, the first tram was full. So I think we need to go and upgrade those to the doubles. So we'll upgrade these to the singles. Just make sure they're going on okay. Yeah. So that'll hopefully increase all the traffic speed going through here. And then before I forget, let's go and upgrade those. So yes, it was these on the cross-country western, which probably needs a new name to be fair. We'll change those to the double, so they're going to go from holding 23, 46. But you can see this guy's actually only holding 17 now. So maybe what we do is we take a couple off, we replace those ones, and then the single ones we get rid of. Maybe we go for that, but we need to keep an eye on it. I do want to just make sure that because of the length of this, it now fits under this new bus station type deal. So I'm just going to have a sip of my tea whilst we see if this fits under. I always make myself a cup of tea. Oh, I don't like how that's not connected in the middle. See that? But then there is some quite strong angles going on here. So it does fit under and it does work. If I fast forward here, is he going to make it all the way out alive? I believe he will do. Yes, there we go. There's a strange connection site there then. Yeah, I always make myself a cup of tea to sit down on the computer before I start making these videos, and I never feel like I've got time, or really that I can take your guys' time to just stop and be having a nice enjoyable cup of tea, so it always ends up going cold and I have to throw it away and make a new one after the videos, but oh well, that's not the end of the world, is it, I suppose. Now, what else do we want to get into this episode? I think that's all the comments addressed, and that's a decent amount of upgrades that we've put in, so maybe now we take the time to attack those roads. So this one here, and at the minute I have to say it's not looking too bad, but you can see everything nonetheless to stop and let other traffic through, and just with it being a crossroads and everybody wanting to go different directions, it gets sort of a little bit wound up. So I think what I want to do is, while there's nothing at the junction there, I want to delete these all back a little bit. Maybe back as far as the bottom of the bridge there. And then if you look at these guys, I can't remember the name of the mod. It will be in the mods list down at the bottom, but these junctions here, look, some of these look absolutely incredible. Now, this would be an ideal place for this junction, really, but because we've got the bus stop that side, we're going to have to go for a roundabout thing. I mean, we could go for one of these massive junctions, but that's just way too big for this area. I don't think yet we can justify having that. I mean, we could turn it on a slant and have it like that, but I think that's too much for here at the moment. So what I'm going to go for is a standard roundabout. Now, if we can stick this sort of here, we need to just make sure that we can still connect with everything. Now, what I do want to do is make sure that we've got country highway and we've got electricity around that, and it needs to be one way, doesn't it? We're going to have to go one-way street with this. For some reason, on a country road, in the one-way section, there's no, these are streets where they can grow buildings on, but there's no country road. And I don't know if that's me being ridiculous or whether I just can't find it, or whether that's just because there's no need for them usually. You don't really see many country roads that are one way, do you? But now we need to connect this guy in. No one else will go this way, so that should be fine. We'll turn on the curved roads and pull out of here. Try and get a nice curve hooked up. There we go. That works well. Existing connection round to here. And then we need to bring this road coming from Canterbury down and in. And then hopefully if we press the lines that worked. It looks like it has. I think we're probably best actually just upgrading that so there's bus lines on the roundabout. There we go. I don't know whether it's worth upgrading this line yet, but I think if we hit play now, we'll see how that works once everything spawns back in. And hopefully that will control the traffic flow a bit more, because anything that wants to come sort of from this way out to the end can use the inside lane now and go around with it being a one-way road. What's he waiting for there? I don't know why he's... That must be because we deleted the road. It's messed that bit of traffic up. He shouldn't have been needing to go that way. And he's just gone completely the wrong way around that roundabout, so... Ah, did I take the one way off it before? Maybe I did. My mistake, but there we go. You can see now we've got the one-way lines on it. And hopefully, once that gets flowing... We'll come back and check before the end, but there's a lot of traffic that comes through here, and now, if it's all just wanting to go this way, it can sort of skip the junction. Whereas if it wants to go around, it's sort of, instead of being at a crossroads and waiting for each other, it's cancelling it out. I think this should be better, but we'll see. It does seem to be building up from this direction now. But we'll keep an eye on it. I don't know whether that's because I've just deleted it and messed about with it. Maybe we put an offshoot here, actually, and see if that works. If we put this connection in here, will that help it? Ah, but it's coming that way now. Okay, so we will need to get rid of that. And that's just turned him around, so we'll pop him back the other way. There we go. Yeah, so we'll come back at the end, guys, and just check what's happening with that and why it's causing so many issues. Because it may be a case of we need to restructure that completely. But this end here was problematic, but now isn't actually. But I think that isn't because all the traffic's now got stuck down at this end. But there we go. It does seem to be flowing now a little bit more. It's just something we've got to keep a look at. It may be better to have it going the opposite way, but then because of the side of the road that they drive on here, possibly not. I don't know, guys. Maybe it's because I'm looking at it from a European or from a UK point of view and we drive on the left. And this would work out normally, but because the vehicles all drive on the right, maybe it needs to be the opposite direction. I'm not sure, actually. They'd turn off the same way then, they wouldn't they? And people coming this way, they'd all cross then anyway. But it seems to be sorting itself out now there. So, let's address before all the traffic does end up back up here at this junction. Because up here, I want to put this big impressive flyover in. But you can see what it's doing to the terrain here. So we need to first delete what we've got and level out some terrain, I think. So it doesn't cause us any issues. So if we pause there, we delete back to the bridge. Here we can delete all the way up. Well, actually, we're going to have to put a piece of road in there now because I've deleted too far. There we go. If we delete that back, we delete those back. And then what we need to do, get the big brush size. We want to lower all of that. And then we want to sort of flatten it all out so we can get this junction in. Now, as you're all well aware, I'm not great with these terrain tools, so I'm hoping that's worked. It doesn't look like it's dropped it enough at that top end here. There we go, let's try that out. That looks a little bit better. Now I need enough room here to make sure it isn't going to mess us about when we're changing from this 4-lane street. When we get down to ground level, now you can see here there's splits, but it hasn't got catenaries actually, so we need to go medium country road, upgrade the roads of catenary. Now I'm aware that these are not one way at the minute. So what we will have to do actually is go to one way, and we'll put. See, this is what I mean when I say this is a shame, because we have to have the one-way street. We can't just sort of select and that it puts these trees on. You see, that's the issue that I have with it. Luckily, we're not close to any cities here, but if we were, it means that it'd start putting buildings along the route, and that's definitely what we don't want here. But we want to go to a 2-lane country road now with electric tram track, yes. And then we want to connect into there, but then we need this guy to come back and connect in as well. Right, guys, I'm going to bring you back in here. As you can see here, I finally got it done, but it was an absolute nightmare. You'll see what we've had to do here. Just trying to get these single connections to join into a different road, or join together even, is an absolute nightmare. If anyone at all knows of a mod that is just a complete Y split, I basically need something that goes from one road there into two separate, like a Y junction. But for whatever reason, every time you try and do it, it tries to do all this crazy stuff, and it just won't work out at all. It looks all messy. If anyone knows of a sort of Y junction, or if anyone out there can make one, please do let me know. Get it on the workshop and give me a link. But what I've had to do is, this side here has probably worked out the best. It does just slightly clip through the pavement, the track there, which I really don't like, but because this one's on a corner, I couldn't get around it at all, so we'll put some decoration down to try and get around that. These guys have had to go miles out. I've only just noticed that one clips across the white line as well. But no traffic could be going that way, so I'm okay with that one. This side, as you can see, it comes all the way down. And we had to actually cross the river here before we could find somewhere for them to join, so we've double bridged it, but I'm sure we can make this look half decent with some assets. The one issue it has thrown up, as you can see here now, these old CE22s are going 3 miles an hour at the top of the bank. I didn't realise how steep this was, but yeah, obviously this is going to cause massive backlogs, even though we do have the, what's it called, the bus lane? Yeah, even though we have the bus lane, that is going to cause problems, so we need to upgrade these vehicles as a priority. So if we have a look and see what we've got, but we've already got crude oil selected here, so I'm thinking at the minute we've got a top speed of 22 miles per hour, I believe, on these. Cargo 28, top speed 25. I think if we go up to the Georgia, I mean we could go up to the Ratton and go diesel, but then that, obviously we've got electric everywhere now for not a lot of reasons. So I think we go George for now. I don't want to do more PCC, we've got quite a bit of that already. So I think we go for the George, but what we are going to have to do is have mixed consist here, because we need to be still transporting the construction materials whenever we can. So we need one that's oil and construction materials, which are these here. So at the moment we're carrying 28 of anything. So if we have these two, see, I don't like. Ideally, I want something that can carry absolutely any cargo, but the only thing at the minute I think is this PC. Yeah, so if we go to oil and coal, it'll tell us the only ones that can transport it are these guys, and the George and the Ratian both have to have the right carriages, if you like, and cargo, and the PCC can just carry anything. That carries only 22, two separate compartments, so that would be the ideal one. I don't want to have the same trams running everywhere, so we'll go for the Georges. We'll see how bad this affects us. We will go we'll go 4-4 to carry 56 oh no, we'll go 42 total. Problem is, for the majority of the time we're going to be running empty on the goods. I wonder, can we make our own of this? Because ideally what I'd like to do is have sort of four crude and just one construction material on the end if we can. It doesn't look like we can. Let's go for the 3-3 at 55 and we'll see how that works out. I'm hoping that gives us a bit more traction up the hill. So where's the first one? I just want to make sure when the first one does come that way, which is obviously now going to be miles away. That's the Ratian. I mean, it'd be interesting to see, to be fair, with that Ratian one, how fast that goes when it's on its own and it hasn't got anything blocking it in front. Because if that one can make it up a hell of a lot faster, then it still probably makes sense to go for that instead. I do like the look of this tram actually. It is just the fact that because it's diesel and we've gone through the effort of putting catenaries up everywhere. See, this goes down to 12 miles per hour. So what we're looking for is for the first one that comes back to go for about the same. Here he is. Tram 13, Little George 2-2. Obviously these were never intended for going up slopes as steep as the one we're getting up now. And it may be a mistake putting this in at this time, to be honest with you. I didn't realise how steep that is. I'm wondering if we could cut it back and have less of an aggressive turn at the bottom, but up to 9, you know what? I think we'll take that, guys. That'll do me. And as soon as we're over the crest of the hill, we're straight back down to full speed again along this straight. So yeah, it's not too much of an issue. But all these joins here, we will actually go into. I've just noticed into traffic management, turn those traffic lights off. I don't want them stopping there when it's not needed. Is there any on the other junctions? There isn't that side, and there isn't that side. Brilliant. Yeah, I don't know why those ones got turned on, but hopefully that will enable it to keep running a little bit better. I think, guys, for this episode, that's where we're going to leave it. If you've enjoyed this one, let me know down below. Make sure you drop me a like on the video. Give me any comments that you've got. Let me know if you know of any good road building mods that could help me get around that situation, or just any other junction mods that you like using, just so I could get some more into the series. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.